Let's start that all over again. I am currently muted. Yes, thank you. All right, so let's start over. Thanks for joining the broadcast. My name is Dave. I'm a woodturner. I wanted to start off this particular broadcast by working on finishing a box that I had turned last week. As you remember, this was off to the side on a crotch, a piece of maple crotch. So I want to turn the handle for it now. I did find my Jacob's chuck, so I was able to go ahead and do the tenon there, or the hole for the tenon. And I've got a piece of cocobolo set up in here already. But I want to start off with a technique I picked up from Eric Lofstrom. I have a piece of 320 grit. Well, you really can't feel anything on it anymore, but it's still an emery paper and a piece of leather. And I tuck the piece of abrasive into the piece of leather, fold it over in half, and create this half circle, this U. What that allows me to do is take that emery paper. I just put a fresh edge on this spindle gouge, and when you do that, you get a really nice burr on there, a nice cutting edge, and I want to refine that. So I want to take this and stick it down into the flute here, and that curve I want to be down all the way in the bottom of the flute, and I'll just run it once, twice, and what that does is it takes that burr back over and cuts some of the rougher, longer pieces off, as I understand it. What I do know is this technique gives me an edge that lasts quite a bit longer. And then I'll take a fine diamond card, and let's see, I'll just tip this down a bit. See if I'm in camera here. I suppose I need to back up. There we go. So I'll take the diamond card and I'll lay it right up on the bevel, like that. And I'll just follow that bevel all the way around, slowly and slightly dragging the tool. Now, Eric Lostrom's done this long enough that he can do it with one finger. I don't have that skill yet. But two fingers, whatever works for you, just hold the card steady. And I'm taking that burr back up now, but cut off even longer stuff, so it's a thicker, stronger burr on there. I don't use the technique all the time. I had a period of time when I was using it all the time, and when I'm not at home, I'm turning somewhere else. I will use that technique sometimes on all my gouges, just so I don't have to sharpen as often. So let's tip this bad boy down here. Make sure I get it centered correctly. Looks pretty good. I need to check this with the camera really quick. Pretty sure that'll get right. Yep, okay, groovy. Don't need that one right now. So I already cut the tenon for the lid here. I'm grabbing the lid off to the side, so I know that it fits. Everything works the way it should, and I like the way that it sits right on top. I've got it slightly undercut, not very much, so that the outer edge is what sits right on the surface, and there's just a tiny little cavity for glue to get up in there. And I've also taken, I do this a lot, I'll take a scriber tool, a sharp tool, and sometimes I've used that. I'm looking for my, jokingly calling it a blood groove. That's not it. I will feel it when I get to it. There it is. And I will strike a groove into the side of the tenon, especially when the tenon fits tightly. as this one does, because what that does is it allows an escape route for the glue that I put into the hole for the tenon to come up and not get just all squished out and make a big mess. The trickiest part for me a lot of the time is getting just the right amount of glue. So you'll probably see me work with that a little bit while I get this attached to the lid. But anyway, I want to have an escape route so there's not, so that the tenon for one can seat all the way down to where it needs to seat. Because if there isn't a way for gases or liquid to escape, then it creates like a piston effect, and you can't often get the tenon all the way down into your hole. So I'll carve that little groove like in there like that. And I think, I mean, I am going to use CA glue, but I think I'll make it just a little bit wider. Doesn't have to be huge. Even like using a nail or the point of a screw will work, whatever. We'll get a groove in there. I just happen to have tools from a head shop. Alright, so again, I've already done my tenon, I've already done my base the way I like the way that is, so I want to finish turning this guy out of this piece of Coco Bolo. Another thing we might notice, hopefully, is that I had to replace, well, I needed to replace 2 of the bearings on the spindle. I went ahead and replaced all 3, and that is a large part of the noise that I've been experiencing. Apparently, I thought it was all the motor. Some of it is the motor. The motor is, the starting capacitor is starting to fail. So I will be in the market for a new $600 motor sometime to make sure this lathe stays running. Alright, so I've got that edge dressed up. And I'm not really totally sure yet how I want this to look. But I do have to say I really like sharp tools. Alright, let's see if I do. I don't want to do a ball there. Well, let's start off with that and see what I think. And go from there. Nah, I don't like it. I think I will put a different kind of handle on there. So let's take this feller. Now that that's started, bring in the smaller skew to actually get in there. I could with the larger skew too, I'll show you that here in a sec, but so with the larger skew, normally you want to work with the lower half, maybe less than the lower half. when you're working on your timber, your piece, whatever you're turning. But in a tight spot, you can actually use the upper part of it just like it was a smaller skew. I'm doing it rather messily right now, but well, not all that bad, but still. You can use, if you're very careful, you can use the upper half of the tool. In fact, you can even use it right there. Now let's see, I think I will take this pick up a really light cut. Even on this 1/4 inch skew, I'm only using the bottom half of the tool, the blade edge. I'm not using the point of it at the moment, partially because you can raise up a fuzz trail, but also partially because I will use the point when I'm trying to get right to a specific area, say doing on a slope or a curve or whatever. I'll use the point at the very end to get right to the exact mark I needed to get to. I think I will go with that. Now I can get this guy in there. So even with this small skew, it's not my hand. This hand is not pulling the skew. It's this hand and my body moving it this way. This hand is just to keep downward pressure on this and make sure that it has positive contact. The tool has positive contact with the timber. It's a lot more difficult to take a light cut with a 1/4 inch skew. Okay, I'm going to cut that off at an angle. So, let's see, I think I'll round it off first. Which with the skew looks like this. Well, I'll go use this point. And then I'll cut that off at an angle so it has a rounded edge. Oh, and I'll roll a, should I roll a bead in that? No. I'll leave it the way it is. While I'm using that, go. Again, just light touch with the abrasive. It doesn't have to be heavy-handed. I really don't want it to be heavy-handed either because I don't want to get pulled in to the rotating machine. So I've got a light grip on the paper and a light touch with the paper, but even if it gets taken out of my hand, which if you followed me for a while, you've seen that a couple times. It's just the paper that goes. I don't move. I don't want to get pulled in. Another reason why I normally don't wear gloves, and if I have to wear sleeves, the tight-fitting cuffs. Alright, hit that with 220. So, Dear Mouse TV says, kinda sucks how I didn't get a chance to try and review a CTC when I had the chance. Oh man, yeah, sorry I don't know you by your screen name. I really enjoy turning a CTC with the students, man. It's a blast to me. Sorry you didn't get the chance at CTC, but hey, if you'd like to take classes, you can do it that way too. Alright, so I have my rounded edge there. I'm going to cut it off at an angle, and I'm going to do it, let's see, if I do it with the grain, that'll make a grain go this way on the exposed piece, and that will make the grain go this way on the exposed piece. I think I'll go this way. So I'm just kind of eyeball it. You know, I need to bring that out a little bit. It doesn't have to be super super precise, because I am going to run some sand, some abrasive across that surface. I want it to have a rounded profile on the face of it. I kind of like that. Alright, so if I take this and cut it this way, then the grain will run up and down. Okay. And I think I'll shoot for about, I don't know, that angle looks good. So, Deer Mouse, did you get a chance to turn with anybody? I'm sorry we didn't get a chance to hang out, but because that would have been fun, man. Here we go. Alright, so the way I cut it, the grain is going to run up and down this way. So let's get rid of, well, I might be able to use that for something else, so I won't cut it off. We'll just take it out of there. So, a little bit of abrasive. Got to round off the edges too. I don't want any sharp edges on it. And it's really up to whoever's making the box, I guess, what looks good to them for, you know, the length of a finial or a handle or whatever. And I thought about doing a finial on this, but I wanted more of a handle. For this particular guy. So when I cut these, I kind of like to put a rounded profile. I don't know if that's showing up well. Let's see. If I can get this turned the right direction. So you can kind of see I'm getting a rounded profile across the face here. Going across it that way. And that's what I'm trying to get. When I cut handles off like this, I like that shape. I think it presents the grain very well, especially the lines lining up, and you can kind of see it looks like the top of the handle gets bigger than it actually does. I just think it looks cool. Other people have a different aesthetic, and that's okay. I think there's plenty of room in this planet for all kinds of different points of view. Especially the respectful ones. Alright, so now I'm just refining the shape a little bit so that it's a little more uniform curve. Redress my edges again to make sure they're not sharp. So it kind of gives it a little bit of a bezel to it, I guess, would be the proper term. But a rounded bezel, I like the look of it, especially when the timber itself is finished. Alright, let's try my 220 real quick. For that guy, I'm going to use a piece of flat timber. Now it's coming together. Pardon, I'm in a pretty loud environment. I'm sorry, I did not. I don't remember. I said several things. So, I asked you if you got a chance to turn with anybody at all at CTC. And my next follow-up question. So, I'm assuming you graduated, and if so, congratulations. Still, it would have been groovy to hang out. Don't get to hang out with all the students. I do my best. Actually, I don't even get to pick them. That's alright with me, man. I don't care who I turn with. I like sharing wood turning with everybody. It's almost even. Then one more quick touch up for my edges here. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Let's see if I can clean this a little bit up here. There we go. All right. Set those to a side and let's go ahead and join these bad boys up. First, do that. Got my lid right here. Oh, that is the luck of the draw there, so I didn't even think about that bit. I do like the grain lining up on my pieces, and so having the grain run this way, it lines up with the lid, and then when the lid, you see that, and we'll see that look, it'll look nicer once it's polished up, which I'm going to do next. You'll see what I'm talking about when, well, I don't know, everybody's got a different eye, but hopefully you'll see what I'm talking about as far as how that looks. That's what's so awesome about like all that too. Like everybody's got a different eye, and everybody's got a different definition of what art is based on, you know, their inner world, whatever that might be. You know, it's just amazing stuff. Like I say, lots of room. I like hanging out with people like that. I like to watch their process, get to ask questions. I like when people hang out with me and ask me process questions, stuff like that. I want to spread the enthusiasm that I have with this craft, I guess. It is a craft. I have myself just taken it off into, you know, art, utility. I mean, I think that's where most, you know, the wood turning originally came from, was the utility pieces, furniture, bowls, cups, stuff like that. You used to hand carve whatever utensils they were eating with, which you still see a lot of spoon carvers out there doing it the traditional way. I myself, I do not have a pole lathe, but someday I will. I want to have that experience of having to run the treadle while I'm turning, as opposed to having an electric motor. I think that might be neat. So right now I am trying to decide, yep, that's going to be it right there. Trying to decide what orientation I wanted this in. Oop, I need to tweak it just a little bit, but that's all right. We're going to put a little bit of glue in there. This is where you might get to see me struggle a little bit. What I do like to do when I'm putting the glue in is just kind of put it along maybe 2/3 of the inner wall there, to also give a chance for there to be an air space for any air or whatever to get out. And this is going to face this way, something like that. And hopefully I haven't put too much glue in there that when it squirts out up underneath the undercut part, it won't also squirt out from the skirt of the base of the handle. It looks like I actually got that one. Hey, all right. That works for me. Let's see. Make sure it's seated all the way. Because once that glue sets, there's no getting it back. Okay, that looks really good. So now I get to finish this off with the buffing balm. I hadn't done the lid yet to match the box here. You can still see that's raw wood. So they will match now, and then I can do whatever other external finish I'm going to do, if I do anything. Most likely on the inside I will use Mahoney's walnut oil to just coat the inside as a finish, and that'll once it cures also give it a little bit more durability on the inside. Not that it needs a lot, it's a small box, but it gives that little bit extra strength and a nice feel to the wall on the inside. Alrighty, here we go. So I do TC Schmo watching from Airmont, but I am shop mother tonight, so in and out. Yeah, we have cool. I wish I was there too, man. It would be a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Hope Mark is doing well. I really would like to have been able to take that class with you, because the shrink boxes, well, something I'm kind of sort of playing with, but really, you know, it wouldn't hurt to have somebody who's had some good success at it show me some of the ropes, man. And Mark's a good guy. I like Mark. Alright, so I am at a faster speed than I need to be. I will slow it down here. So again, like I said, the lathe is a little bit quieter now because it's all brand new bearings. I did replace the motor with a spare that I had. Turns out the spare that I had doesn't want to run at all, so I had to put the old motor back on. But so far it's still willing to run. I'm thinking about starting a fundraiser, I guess, to try to get this motor replaced. Okay, that's not exactly running true. I want it running better than that. So I think I'll rotate it a bit. We'll see what that does for me. Nope, I'll rotate it a little bit more. That's closer. We'll rotate it a little bit more. Don't be afraid to adjust your piece, man, to make it, to get it where you need it to be. Smoother turning, easier turning. That's closer. Not quite. just hit a detente in the inside of the lid. I'm hoping that that might be. Not quite. I am picky about this because I want what I want. And I believe that when I get things in the right order, right direction, whatever, everything will come together much more nicely. Alright, that's really close. I'm going to stick with that. So I don't want to push against the side with the towel in case that might pop it off the chuck. So I kind of wrap the towel over it a little bit and just use, I don't close it all the way down. And again, I'm not holding onto it with a super tight grip because if it gets taken out of my hands, I want it to get taken. I don't want to get pulled in. I'm more than happy to let it go. Alrighty then. Well, that looks like that polished up really nicely. Oh yeah, I think I can do just a wee bit more right there. There we go. So we'll put these two together. Let's get that out of there. And that's how it's going to sit, or at least my vision of it. So if I get this in the right spot, and you can see the light play across that surface. There's a lag, so I'm not going to be super steady. I'm trying to watch the screen, but there's a bit of a lag, so I'll rotate it a little bit. You kind of see that rounded surface, but it catches the eye more because it looks like there's more surface that's actually reflecting the light and in more than one direction. So I kind of really dig that. But there is the finished box. I'm very, very happy with it. All I got to do is finish the inside. I got the fit exactly the way I wanted it to, and it's seasoned. So eventually, I think I'll buff it. I'm kind of playing around with the idea of dyeing this thing to help bring out the curl more, maybe. But right now, it is a finished piece for all intents and purposes, other than the inside that needs to be hit with walnut oil. All right, moving on. I'm going to put this to the inside. Don't believe I need my glue, but so I will be right back. One moment. Alright, so back to it. It doesn't look like my music is playing at all, man. What the heck? I don't understand why it does this. But, you know what? If it ain't up, there it goes. Say if it ain't broke, don't fix it, but it's broke and I can't fix it. So, alright, let's get rid of this chuck. I'm going to go back between centers now. I'm going to turn some sort of green wood into some shallow natural edge bowls. I've been playing around with making sewing needle cases with magnets in them. And all you have to do is tip that up and pull the stopper out, and your needles are all stuck right there. So I want, and they're in galleries right now, Twisted Fish, and it will be in Crooked Tree Gallery tomorrow. So I want some display bowls to be able to line these out, and then I would like them to be wide enough that the whole thing fits in there. So I took this log, this piece of maple. I want to set this up here because I like talking about this bit. People ask me, and I'm not the only woodturner that gets asked, but I do get asked a lot. How do you process your wood? What are you doing? So let me grab a. Well, this will work. We'll just use this yardstick. So one of the first things I want to do is get rid of that pith. And so I want to make a cut down into the lumber itself to get the pith all the way through. Now I got most of it, but that's okay. What I needed to turn away is going to turn away the rest. So what I'd like to do is, and looking at it's harder to tell on this one because I got the corners cut off, but looking at this particular log, it's not round. And I don't, when I find the round ones, that's awesome. It's easy to find a center, or what I call a geographic center. What I do is I'll take a ruler like this yardstick, and I'll pick a number, usually 10. It could be 15 or 20, but something that's easy to work with, so I can count from one direction to the other from that center. So this would be basically 4 inches, right? Well, this would be 4.5. So that's not the actual geographic center of the blank, and I want to get as much usable material out of this as I can. I guess sometimes it's like six of one and a half dozen the other, but I like to be able to use as much of the material as I can and not have a lopsided piece to start with, or at least minimize the lopsidedness of the piece to start with. So since I knew this was not round, as I say, I take that center the pith, and I'll center a number on that, and I'll rotate this around to look for the geographic center where the edge is the same distance from my center, and that was the edge that was the same distance from the center. So I cut it down the middle there. What that gave me was not two equal blanks, but because this one is not as thick as this one. However, what it did give me was a more continuous curve around the particular blank or billet that I cut out, or whatever you want to call it. So what I want to do with both of these is making some shallow, come on Dave, live edge bowls. So I will start with not this guy, because I already found a center on that one. So you can see there's a little bit of pith left, not much. Now I want to start off on my balance point. I'm going to move some things around here. Sorry about that. And I want this to be natural edge, so this is going to be the bottom. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, there it is. Then I'll set it up on a point, and then bring my tailstock in and see where that dude rotates to. So the rotation there tells me it's heavier in the bottom. So I'm going to raise it up on this point, maybe a 1/4 of an inch. And then see where it goes. Still heavy in the bottom. So now I'll go to this point and raise it up about a 1/4 of an inch. You see it wants to go to another location. Let gravity do its job. So I'll bring up this side. Actually, I'm going to bring up this side a little bit again, because it's giving me a little bit more of a flat face if I do that. There we go. So now I just got to bring this up a little bit. See where that puts me. Still heavy. And I'm going to tweak it until I get it to where no matter where I set it, it's going to be still. It's not going to want to move. Or at least as close as I can get to that. Alright, up just a wee bit. There we are. That's a balance point. So what that does is it limits the vibration that I'm going to start off with right away. It's balanced now. So once it starts turning, it won't dance around as much as if I had one piece longer or a big lump over here. You know, it's balanced. And that's the reason for doing that. I want to start off vibration, as they say, is the enemy. Vibration can really mess up the way you're turning, mess up the piece that you're working on. So I want to limit as much of it as I possibly can. And that's why a lot of times, especially with raw lumber, I'll start right off on the balance point. So I need to start making, that didn't clear. So making sure before I even turn the lathe on that all the corners will clear. So this is going to be a shallow bowl. I'm going to I want to use mostly this section of it. I don't want to keep that, so I'm probably going to have to create a natural edge, at least on that side and that side. We'll see how it looks once it's turned, but this will remain a natural edge, at least as much as I can get away with. So I'm going to start off with bowl gouge. And I want to start off at a slow speed, slowly raise it up, see if that increases the vibration. Sometimes by adjusting the speed, you can get a different harmonic, and that can drop your vibration down a little bit or increase it. That's a pretty good spin for that particular piece, and I really don't, I've got a little bit of vibration, but not much. I do like the fact that it's actually a quieter lathe. I can slow this down a little bit. Right about there, I guess. Just listening for the sound. Let me explain that. So I'm feeling the lathe to see what kind of vibration I'm getting out of the pieces it's rotating, and it's minimal right now. I also listen to a sound, and it's something that I've gotten, I think everybody picks it up. I can't be the only person that does this. You get used to certain speeds that you're turning at, and so you listen for a sound. And I still get kind of boogered up by that, because sometimes, I mean, I've gotten so used to turning things at 1,000 RPM or less that even when I'm at 1,000, I think I'm turning like slower than I am. But I also have been known to turn at 400 RPM. There's no reason you can't. All right, so I'm going to start with a pull cut that's going to transition into a push cut. I want to round off the ends. Tool rest in. I just want to round the ends off, so I'm actually already there. Because again, I just want to use this, I'll probably go a little bit more, but I just want to use this 1.5 inches or so, because I want a wider piece, and I'm going to have to adjust this piece so that the edges, the opposite edges, meet on the same plane when it's resting on whatever surface it's going to rest on, and that these also do. But right now I'm just trying to go, I just want a basic shape. Everything's clearing, so we're good there. Somewhere in there, I think. Will be good. Now, I will tell you that turning air at a slow speed is more difficult, because it turns into a clunk, 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 clunk. So I want to get the lathe speed up as fast as I can, so all that not wood that I'm turning goes by quicker, and that's another reason to have it start on the balance point, because I can immediately get the speed of the lathe up. Well, I got a time out of the stream for now. Have a good night. Hey, thanks, man, for stopping by. I really appreciate it. That's very cool that you were able to make it. I do Tuesday and Wednesday nights, 8 to 11. So I'll be back again tomorrow night if you got time and you wanna hang out, chat. So yes, have a good evening. And it looks like Snyder Spindles, first time chatter. Hey, how you doing, man? He says, well, he or she, Snyder Spindles, says howdy. Howdy to you. I'm gonna jump out on a limb and guess that you turn spindles. Are you a wood turner there, Snyder? Snyder Spindles? Okay, I've got to get this cleaned off. So I'm in the crowd that thinks that wood turning shouldn't beat you up. Turning is mostly finesse, I believe. Alright, so I do already have to make an adjustment. You can see here the pith, that little bit, last bit of pith there. Let's take that and carry it all the way around to right there. So it's really, really close, but it's not quite the same. So what I need to do is bring this out just a little bit, so I take this surface as it comes around will be lower than that surface. and I can take a little bit more off of here and get that a little bit more balanced. And it's not going to be much. Probably not even something like that, but we're going to try it. Don't hit the on switch, Dave. That's not what you're going for. Make sure it's secure. Everything clears. All right. So sharp tools are a must. Practice is also a must. That thing is just coming around like a major propeller. Alright, let's grab my pencil again. If it didn't fall off, it did not. So I've taken a little bit off of there. I haven't even hit that yet. So if I take this ring right here, because I can, wait, that's the brown part, right? So if I take that ring right there, I can take that ring right there. Let's follow that around, see where we're at. Alright, I'm just a shade off of there. So hopefully that right there compensates for it. I probably moved it a hair's width, and not a rabbit, an actual body hair. Bad joke, I know. This is funny every time it happens. Almost fell off the lathe. Okay, so now I am just inside that, which should put me right on, yes, so I'm right on it. So that line carried all the way across from here. So that's balanced out now. Now I gotta figure out, well, not yet, but very soon I need to figure out what I'm gonna do with this side and this side. At the moment, we're working out some other details. That was a piece of bark that blew off. Fortunately, I was not in the line of fire. If I was in the line of fire, though, I would be wearing a face shield. I'm off to the side over here, as you can see by my tool. What shape that gives me. Oh, that's looking pretty good. Give it a little bit more angle. I think I like that tucked in. Yeah, I do. So I'll have a little bit of a lip there. That'll look nice. Plus, it'll kind of give it handles on this end. I could actually center this up right now. So I'm making this just to be a bowl for, yeah, you see that's where the bark came off. Just to display other pieces. So, but I'm also like, I want everything that I can do like to be the best that I can do. So, even though it'll be a display piece and maybe or may not be just like a display stand and may or may not be, I don't know, gallery quality. It's got to look nice. I think I'm going to do that. I think I will. Can I do that? I'll have to take it down a lot more. How much more? Let's find out. If I center it right on the pith. Now I am going to double check. It did finally fall off, didn't it? Yep. I gotta stop doing that. To say the vibration isn't completely gone, but it's mostly gone. So this little bitty pencil is just gonna flop right off there. Alright, so if I take, let's see, I'll go to this. Does that carry over here? No, that's just water. Oh, that's fabulous. Let's count out then. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Let's go with 12 right there. And I'll make that circle. At least I think I'll make that circle. I'm probably a little bit off now. Yep. There we are. Alright, so that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm almost there. I need to tip it this way just a little bit. It wasn't quite centered. And I'll check it again. So I know that this line right here is where I want to go. There's 12 there. And that is just a little high. So there. So now, and this is something I don't normally do either, try to plan out where the center of absolutely everything is. I kind of stumble into it most of the time because that's not usually the aesthetic that I'm looking for. I'm more about like the shape of it, and the grain lining up in particular patterns. The mythical X and I and all that it's not something that I chase. Nothing wrong with it, it's just not my my go-to. Checking my depth as I go because I don't want to take too much off the bottom, but I do want it to be, you know, running true. Man, I'm noticing it is a lot quieter. I'm digging this. Alright, so now I think we're running true finally. Yep. And that will look like a good spot for the handle. So let's adjust the shape a little bit more. And I got to work on, you know what, let's angle this dude. Got to work on what I want the foot to look like. And I think since it is a bowl that I'm using to display other turned objects, that I'm going to want to have a little bit of a broader foot. That's all going to clear, right? That will clear. But that will not. Nope. Okay. One of the biggest tricks, so to speak, when you're turning, actually just working with wood, period, is you want to work with the grain, not against it. In this case, I want to turn downhill to the fibers. You can see, yeah, you can see the ring structure here. Now, the outside ring structure is what is helping, well, it's actually the inside ring structure that's helping hold the tree up. This is the growing part, and then as it gets wider and wider, this becomes more and more woody, so to speak, and becomes more like well, not, it becomes harder, but not necessarily like the heartwood. And here, I think you can see where the heartwood actually stops, and then the rest of the tree, all the growth rings are different. These are really, really tight rings, man. That is crazy. This one got the luxury of growing pretty slow. That's at least, what, 12 years into it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, so 17, 18. So when it was about 20 years old, it went through a period of really slow growth, and we got some really, really tight rings. These aren't too far apart, but these are really tight. And then there was some growth explosion. You can see the rings get wider, and the width of the rings tells you, like, the growing season of the tree, how much it actually grew in that season, summer and winter. There's summer wood and winter wood. That's what the rings, the different colors of the rings are from different seasons. Long diatribe, I guess. The whole idea is that this is supporting, I want to cut downhill to the fibers. Since they all run like this, if I cut down this way, then these fibers here are going to support the cut as it comes down. If I were to cut this way, these fibers, they're all in like this, so these fibers will get pulled up and pushed up and fuzz up and might even tear out. So I don't want to go that way. I prefer to go downhill with the grain to the fibers to get a cleaner cut. Definitely greener wood, and green wood is definitely nice to turn. Okay, that is looking like a much nicer shape. So now I'm going to work on figuring out where my foot's going to be out here somewhere. Yeah, that's a much nicer shape. Actually, I want to move my, can I move my tailstock? Move it in this way, I think. Or do I have to actually move the tool rest? No, I think that'll be okay. Right there. So my foot's going to be... Sorry, one sec. I just realized that once again I left the pencil on the lathe. And it fell off, and I need the pencil. At least I'm not up against a wall where I would have to reach through the lathe. There'd be some weird whatever. Alright, so I think I'll take my foot out Well, let's draw it on here and see what that looks like, and maybe a wider foot. And you know what? We'll do this, because this is part of the process, figuring out how you want a piece to look. So I'll need to take that in a little bit. So let's go ahead and establish that surface there. And on this one, I'm actually going to go against the grain. But all I'm trying to do is just establish that surface to start from. And when I have this, oh shoot, I got to think about that too. Is this going to be a glue block? No, it's not. So we'll leave it as a chuck hold, which means I'll take that surface down just a little bit more. Have dovetail jaws, so just use my spindle gouge to make a little dovetail. It'll grip it right there. That'll be plenty of timber to hold on to this thing. Yeah, let's move the tool rest. So I really want to get up on there. Because I'm going to roll a small bead right in there. And that'll be the, well, let's see. See, I almost did it again. I gotta put the pencil over there. Alright, so I'm centered on this. But this isn't. If you can see that. And that's really what I'm more interested in. I want even sides all the way around. I'm not all that doesn't matter too much to me. So I need to move it over quite a bit. I'm going to go back to the original center and see what that gives me. Start that line right there. Try one more time. So just a little bit down. Tilt it just a skosh down, and hopefully that will have done it. Start back on this side, and we will go the other direction. Yep, right to the edge. Okay, cool. So that's balanced now. I may have to rebalance these two sides. That's okay. That's what it's all about, man. Exploring, checking things out, taking your time, giving yourself the permission to make mistakes. I'm not saying this is a mistake because it's not. It's a design change. And that's what I prefer to call them anyway, because they are. That's what they are. It's a design change. You never know what you're working with, what you're going to get when you're working with a piece of lumber until you start cutting into it. And the wood itself may make a design change for you. A piece may come off, or you'll expose something that looks really cool to you that you want to keep in the piece, and so you'll adjust and move. So a design change is not a negative. Give yourself the permission to make mistakes as a new turner, anytime, because we are human beings and not perfect. down a little more in depth here. Clearly I do. To get it even all the way around. Shut off this camera here and just go back to the overhead. All I'm doing is getting a foot where I can grab with the chuck. The general shape is close to where I want it to be. So let's just get that out of the picture. So I need to establish a chuck hold again. Starting to get a little bit of vibration, and I think it's because it's because I've got it out of round again, or off balance again. Okay, I need to take a little bit more off there and refine that shape just a touch, and then figure out. Oh yeah, that's what I needed to figure out. Hey, look, I put the pencil back where it was supposed to go. Okay, so we'll call this number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll go to number 8 there. So that's number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Not quite. Let's see, I want, oh, there we are, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, if I'm counting correctly. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, takes me to, whoops, I goofed that up, came off the timber and lost my line. Takes me right to there, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is that right? I think. Alright, I'm going to take it down a little bit more. I'm really close to being centered this way now. It's close to the shape I'm going after. We're almost there. So I want to double check this again. Now that I have everything at least apparently on the same level. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll call that one 8. Spin it around. Come right into that, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, just a skosh off. So I'm going to bring this up just a little bit and check it again. That way the ring is balanced on both sides. So I'm basing it, the ends on the same ring that goes through the tree, and then by extension having this centered this way, the same ring on the outside of the tree. So that should have taken me here, or at least closer there. I may be off by one. Yep, I'm off by one. So that should take me right to there. Didn't move it enough. Pretty sure I want that ring right there. There we are. Got it. Yep, got it. Alright, cool. So now I'm centered this way. Rather this way I'm centered now between these two spots. I'm centered this way, and now I'm centered this way. Just to double check that. Now I'm not centered that way. That is a bummer. Alright, so I got to shift this now just a little bit. I need to go tilt it down this way just a bit. Let's try that. So this outer edge should meet that outer edge. Nope, need to bring it down a little bit more. This is another like poster. Oh God, that's not even a prime example of why starting between centers is so awesome. Because I can move things around. If I start off in a chuck, I'm stuck in a chuck. Okay, so that matches, and then I want to make sure I'm still matching on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to this guy. Right there. Should hit right there. Count those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, that's not right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, did I hit the wrong one? That's 7 right there. Oh, I was looking at the wrong one. It's centered up now. Okay, cool. So refine this shape. There's a couple ways I could do this, but I need to. Oh yeah, I need that pencil back. I need to establish where my foot's going to be now. And I will say, how about right there? Now, is that the inside or the outside part of it? I think that's going to be the outside part of it, so I will make this the inside part. You can't see that without the other camera, but that's alright. Or maybe you can from this angle, perhaps. Maybe almost. It's right there. And there. So maybe not. I don't know. So I'm going to take this in. That should be a little more concave than that. There we go. Need to reestablish my tenon there, because this bit I'm going to turn away after the piece is hollowed, so to speak, and turned into a bowl. Concave, tip. So I'm going against the grain here for just a short distance. I think I'll give it a little bit more lift than that. Finish that bead off. And I want to double check I don't like looking at the thing spinning when I'm right in the line of fire. That looks like that'll be about 1/8 of an inch, maybe a little bit more, so I'm going to go with that. It looks like it's concave enough that it will sit right on that bead, which is what I want, especially when all this is gone, which I got to leave it now because that's where I'm going to hold it with the chuck. And then I'll match that curve in there. So let's excuse me, refine this a little bit. And I find I need to move my tool rest. Make sure everything clears. No, it does not. That will do, I think. So I guess you could say I'm making more of a platter, sorta. That clears. They will both clear. Groovy. Make sure that these two edges on the end match up. Okay, that looks good. And the general shape is almost there. Then I believe, almost got a little bit of work to do right here. Looks like a nice OG shape. Yeah, I like that. Alright, so now I'm going to, well, let's see, will that even fit in there? Well, yes it will. Alright, so I'm going to use my skew to do a little negative reg scraping on this guy, just to clean up the bottom. Still following the grain, going downhill to the fibers. Very, very light touch. Skew skew fits right in there, man. That's perfect. There's nothing wrong with using scrapers in your turning. Tool is a tool is a tool. If it works for you, use it. If it keeps you turning, use it. Just learn. It's always better, though, to learn the best possible way to use the tools. Okay, now I can sand. Jeez, man, I can go right. Well, I'm going to start at 180, I think. I'm just going to clean this up just a bit. We don't want that. Would really like to stress to you how little pressure I'm actually putting on this tool. Turning really is mostly finesse. I need to clean this up because I got spun out there. Just going to sit just a touch higher on the table or whatever surface, and that's fine. A little bit more to go. All I want to do is turn the best piece I can turn out of this piece of timber. Is it there? Almost. I do like it is an S shape on the bottom. I do like that. Okay, just a touch more to go. Got to get rid of those tool marks. And I don't want to spend hours sanding. Oh, so close. Let me take a look at this. Okay. Back and forth with this skew because I'm using it as a negative red scraper, and it does have a bit of a burr right there. Oh, man, it's just the tiniest little mark. It's got to go. up here and I broke the curve. And a little bit right about there too. Okay, that got rid of that tool mark. I just got to worry about this area right up here. So I'm not watching where my tool is specifically. I'm more looking at the shadow as it goes by. You can see it down here in the camera. I can't see it here, but I can see it over here. And, you know, that looks really, really good. Let's give a little bit more to right about here. There we go. Alright. So that bottom is now, well, let's double check my ends here. Yep, that bottom is now finished, so I'm going to hit that with some abrasive. And take a look at chat here. Wiley Smiley Kylie. I had to look it up. Scotia is a word. Yes. Yes. Actually, it derives from the Japanese word skoshi, which means a little. Learning all sorts of things tonight, Mr. Dave. Yes. Yes, I do have, since I was stationed in Okinawa for 2 years, been to mainland Japan and learned a little bit of Japanese. I do know that the word skosh is in the English language, but the actual word is skosh, which sounds similar but isn't. Anyway, yeah, cool stuff. Cool stuff. Alright, so I am going to hit this with some abrasive, but without the use of a air compressor, since I really don't have to do a ton of sanding. I did a really, really nice scraping on this guy. So I'm just gonna go for it with friction, but I need to slow it down some. Wow, I wasn't turning very fast in the first place, apparently. I think it was about 800. Just a skosh. I mean, I've been part of the American crowd that has butchered languages, sometimes on purpose. I do like my Grex sander. I like the fact that it needs very little air to operate. And there we go. Ooh, there's some curl coming out. Oh, lovely curl coming out. Yes. Alright, for some reason that bit right there is not sanding well, so we'll go after it again. And then we'll hit it with a new disc. that's cool, man. I'm glad you looked that up. That's awesome. I don't believe. Yeah, I don't think I do. I don't believe I have any more of the at the moment. For some reason, I can look at my tool bag. Hold on one sec. I think I'm at a 220 of the this particular grid bracer. And I must order more. But I do have a couple of pieces in my tool bag for when I go to, say, CTC. So at least it'll get me through till my order shows up with more of this stuff. Alright, I think I'm actually going to hook this up to the air compressor real quick. So I'm going to mute the main audio. I see that the music stopped playing again. Why does it do that? I do not know. Not sure. Gotta figure that one out. Alright, so I'm going to go mute. I gotta turn my compressor on first. It will quickly kick on, so I'm going to mute the main audio. I will be right back. This shouldn't take too very long. I'll be right back. Hope you enjoy music. And we're back. Capto B says, hey man, how's it going? How's it hanging, man? Ooh, this happens to me all the time. And I know it's because I keep my tools sharp. I don't know where I brushed up against it, but I did. Alright, so that is the outside finished. That's on, oop, that's not on there good, so I can take that off. In fact, I wasn't planning on the bark being on there in the first place. And now we'll turn the rest away. I'm going to put it in the chuck and we'll get her done. Love, you can see all that curl throughout this piece. Just all kinds of curl in this maple. Very nice. What you been up to, man? Captain O good, great. How's life treating you? Says Captain OB. Maybe that's Captain OB. Probably. Sorry, man, if I butchered it. TC Smoke, gotta sign off. My ducklings have flown. Well, thanks for dropping in, man. If you maybe can rope Mark into it tomorrow for a couple minutes. Who knows, man? Anyway, have a good one, dude. I know you're enjoying yourself. Wish I was there. Oh, come on. Yeah, life has been treating me pretty well so far, I guess. Nobody wants to hear me complain, so... But I really don't have anything to complain about, man. Other than, you know, geoengineering, the political scene. I don't really want to complain about that. Just want to do something about it. Alright, so I'm going to bring up the tailstock for a little bit on this guy, because I do still have a lot of mass here that's going to need to disappear. I like doing stuff like this, man. Just kind of like, okay, here's a piece of wood. Piece of timber I need to make, I don't know, I need to make this out of it. How's that gonna work out? And I got lucky, I got curly wood, man. Can't beat that. Okay, that clears, Alright, now the bark's gonna fly. Whoops, I am trapped right there. Thought that was going to clear. I was wrong. There we go. Hogging off some stuff here. For those of you that are newer to turning, you should work within your what feels comfortable to you. If you're not comfortable hanging off tool rest very far, you're not. Definitely learn how to use the tools properly first before you start trying to go hog wild with them. You will have a much more pleasant experience. There we go. You know, I could speed this. Oh, that's 600. Well, I'll turn it 600. I don't care. So I'm using the entire wing on my bow gouge, but it's because I'm comfortable doing that. In certain situations, this is one of those situations. Okay, now I can do this in some. Make sure that's going to clear, not quite, but it will in a second. Speed it up a little bit. I really don't need to, but I'm cutting air. Okay, now I'm getting down to where I think I can cut this guy off and just go with the chuck. Just wanted to have a little bit more support just because that was a lot of mass to take off. I believe my tool rest is a little high. Yep. Let's see, and I believe also that I'm going to need my longer tool rest. So I will just transition right now, because this piece is now longer than it is wide. Flip that guy up. This is the view from the side here. Just working our way down. A little too low. TC Smo got us on Captain OB or Mike OB, you know me, hello. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't understand like the whole protocol for online names. I mean, I was told, oh, I should have picked an alias or whatever. It's like, yeah, but I want people to know who I am, so I'm using my name. Thank you very much. Except for like, you know, some mobile games that I only play on my phone. When you got to register, I register as something else, but that's just those online games, and I don't want, you know, a bunch of spam emails and crap like that. Okay, so now I've got to start working on matching this curve on the outside. Everything's going to clear, right? Yep. And I think I'm just going to leave it at this speed. I think I'm going to make it a little bit thinner. I think that works for me. Yeah, okay, I like that thickness. All right, so I'm going to work with that. What is that, about 1/4 inch? I'm going to work with that. And then I will have to round these parts out just to make it. This looks like natural edge, and so does this. So I just got to work with these to blend that in. This will be a natural edge. And then maybe I don't know, I might wire wheel it. It's just hard to say. I still got some cambium to take off here anyway. So maybe if I wire wheel it off, it'll expose the very, very top surface of the timber here. So I have to be careful because I'm going to start getting some vibration issues. So I'm going to work this one down in stages. Just going to take my time. I'm already turning at a slower speed than most people do. Whoops, that's loose. That's not good. Alright. Actually, I can get rid of all this. Since this timber right here is not supporting anything out on the edge, so it can go. And my tool rest is too low now. Well, it was already too low. Let's bring it up just a little bit. There we go. Still a little low, but we'll go with that for now. Alright, that is a nice broad S curve. I really want to match that very closely. So, gotta move the tailstock. Sorry, my handle is a large handle. I need to make a slightly shorter one. So I'm just eyeballing this. I'm not going to get calipers out. There we go. So that's fairly even. I'm going to break this guy out though. was getting just a little bit of vibration from that. There we go. Yeah, I'm digging that. Just a tiny bit of vibration that gave me a tool mark right in here. And using the burr on the negative rate, well, it's a skew, but you know, right now it's a negative rate scraper. And the burr doesn't care which way the grain goes. There we go. Alright, so I won't go back there. Well, now I can get rid of all this. Since it's no longer supporting anything. It's pretty close. Let's take a look here. Should have evened that out right there. Yep, sure did. So now I can pick this cut up and take it down. You see, oh, you can't see. Let's take a look at this camera. You can see this shadow here. And that shadow, that's water coming out of the wood right now. I think I'm due for a new tool, so I'll make this stage. And then I'll get a fresh tool. Come on now. There we are. Let's move that guy out of the way. Sanding will blend that in. Let's move this guy down. Make sure everything's going to clear. I don't want to hang off the tool rest too far. So right now I'm doing the push cut. But, well, you can't really see it, but I'm pushing with my right hip. I'm not pushing with anything else. Oh, I love that sound. Shaving's just coming right off. me bring my tool rest up just another skosh. It should be good right there, I hope. There we go. That clears. And that clears. All right. Just about to the end of the display piece. Yeah, that's even. All right. There we go. Okay, looks like that might be, hopefully this is the final cut. Wait, hold on. Yeah, that'll sand it. Okay, cool. Just making sure that any minor tool marks I have, that they look like they could sand out pretty easy. Okay, cool. It's coming together, man. So I'm only moving as fast as the tool can cut. I know that will give me a cleaner surface, and it will not be as hard on my body. Oh yeah. Alright, so I can take this down a little bit, I think. Is that going to be... Yeah, I'm going to take the center part down just a wee bit more. Just a little bit, though. And now I can put a sander on it. Do I really want to? Yeah, that should sand out fine. Okay, cool. And thickness is fairly even all the way through. Just eyeballing. So that works for me. I am going to run the sander across it without, not on 220 though, without any air from the compressor. We'll get this surface finished, and then we'll flip it around and finish off the foot. These not, nope, that's 600. I don't want 600. $600 will not do the job I need it to do. All right, slow this guy down. Whoops. Need a mask. All right, looks like I'm going to mute you again. Why does this keep stopping? I don't get it. There it goes. All right, so got music back. I'm going to mute, do some quick sanding on this surface here. And then I'll be back. wow. Yeah, sorry about that, folks. I really thought I muted that. Well, you got to enjoy it with me. Yeah, there's all kinds of lovely curl in this, man. It made it a little bit difficult to see where the tool marks are, but all that curl is just going to pop. So let's get rid of this foot. And we're going to do that with a friction drive. On, where are you? There it is. How are we doing on time? Not bad, all right. Not bad for designing it from the ground up. On the fly, even. Let's see, I believe I can get the short tool rest back out. And you were right here. So fortunately on this one I can find the center, but I still need to make sure it's going to run true. And I just want to put just enough pressure on it to keep it firmly against this, but not pressing into this wood here. So I can move it with my hand. It's not tight enough. Damn, that's already really close. Alright, that's tight enough. We're close. I want to be as right on as I can be, because I'm dealing with just a shade on I guess that's about a 1/4 inch thickness. And really, this doesn't have to run true. It's just this bead needs to run true, and then I can get everything cut off the bottom in a good arc. Closer. Okay, I think that's going to be it. Yeah, there we go. So we'll speed her up a little bit. pretty good. Come on. Well, that's a lot of shavings today. There you are. Okay, I'm going to mute one more time. Just let the compressor get the full load. All right, cool. So, do I still have? Yes, I do. Right here up to the side. Looky there. Perfect. So all I need to do now is run a wire wheel around the outside. And that's a done piece. Very cool. So we'll see what happens as it dries. I'm sure it might curl up a little bit, but I'm hoping that all this curl kind of pops out of the surface too. That's very nice. It's a lot of curl in that. So I'm going to turn the second one of these tomorrow from 8 to 11. Got that right? Yeah, let's put that off. And I want to thank you very much for joining me this evening. I always have a lot of fun turning. I enjoy talking about it with anybody that will listen. And I really enjoy teaching it. But probably like most everybody else, my favorite thing is to throw a lump of timber on the lathe and see what comes out of it. And as I go along the way, I do my best to explain how I'm doing it, what I'm doing it, why I'm doing it, all those things. And because I started this channel, I started turning this therapy for PTSD. I'm a disabled vet. And I found I had a knack for it, fell in love with it. It definitely got me through a lot of, let's just call them crazy nights, that I was able to come out to the lathe and work out some issues on creating forms and stuff like that out of lumber. And I learn as much as I can along the way. I would love to turn with just about anybody. Probably anybody, doesn't really matter, because I want to learn as much as I can, and I want to be the best turner that I can be. And I started this channel to do that, to become also a better demonstrator and teacher, but also to help people like you become the best turner that you can be. So that's why I do spend so much time explaining what I'm doing, and showing you the tool handling skills and all that will really help you further your own turning journey. So I want to, I think I'm going to, unless I've got a sweet, very nice thank you, Waikari, I appreciate it. Throw the floor open for any questions or comments. If you got any, we'll keep it running for another couple of minutes. Like I said, tomorrow, I'm not going to dig it out of there. We'll take that other log, the other half of that log, and we'll make another piece that is longer than it is wide, just for a display piece to be able to lay stuff into. I know I'm particular about my pieces. I want them. I don't want it to look like it came out of Walmart. I want it to look professional, and I want it to be the best work that I can do for that piece. So I do spend the time. Sometimes maybe, well, I don't know. I don't think it's too much time. I think it is, I spend the amount of time that it takes to get the best piece out of the piece of timber that I've got. And sometimes it's got voids, and sometimes other cool surprises, whatever. This doesn't have much to it other than lots and lots of curl, which I'm really happy about. I cannot wait for this to finish drying, and I can put, well, I'll have to wire wheel it, the edges here, and then I'll put finish on it. And then I will probably buff it, perhaps, but it'll be a nice looking display stand. And that's just among the many, I don't know, hundreds of things that being able to turn wood on the lathe allows me to do. I can make I can make my own tool handles, sometimes even my own tools, if they're wood tools that are needed, like a mallet or whatever. I can make my own display stands. I can make my own bowls. I do that too, but I also really enjoy making artwork. I love to watch that. The beauty that's in my head actually come out onto the wood, and that dance that goes with it. I think that it is lovely. Wood turning it definitely is mostly finesse, and when you can get into that dance and move with everything, it's indescribable. It is just a piece that is amazing, just a peace of mind. And that helps keep my enthusiasm pretty well alive, knowing that I have a space where I can go and decompress, work out issues in my head while my body does its thing. Because I'm one of the people that I think better while I'm doing things, while I'm physically active. I think better, and so for me, work is a meditation. And when I can allow, it's taken a lot of hours to do this, and you'll get there too. It's taken me a lot of hours to get to where the muscle memory is pretty much automatic. I just have to have in my head where I want the tool to go, and my body goes there. And again, you can get there too. I don't see any questions or comments yet, so I think I'm going to go ahead and call it an evening. Thank you very much for joining me this evening on Twitch Tuesday. I hope that you enjoyed watching the broadcast. I hope also that you might have learned a thing or two, and it will help you with your wood turning, or maybe even to decide whether you want to try to explore wood turning. I think wood is a lovely medium in the first place. It is alive, breathing. It still is alive and breathing. It will move and change shape to the environment that it's in. It's always breathing and moving. So it is a live medium to me, and I find it fascinating. And if you do too, and you want to get into wood turning, well, I invite you to check out my YouTube channel. Let's just throw that up there real quick right here at the end. I have it in the beginning of chat. I just realized I'm sitting here talking and it's muted. Most of my past broadcasts are recorded full length and on my YouTube channel, which is now in chat. I invite you please to subscribe, check them out. You can catch any broadcast that you've missed. Be twice a week that they get uploaded, Tuesday, Wednesday night. I will be back again tomorrow evening to finish the other half of the log into another display stand. And whatever else happens tomorrow night. Thank you very much. I appreciate you joining me this evening. Sorry that last bit was muted. I try to pay attention to that, and I do try to pay attention to chat. So this is live and interactive. If you have anything that you want to ask, or any comments, or even just to say hi, I do pay attention to chat, and I do answer those things. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. I hope you rest well. Hope you stay friendly. I hope to see you again tomorrow night. If not tomorrow night, then next Tuesday at 11 or 8 p.m. to 11. And remember, we're live, interactive. How cool is that? Thanks again, folks. Good night.